This is another Patreon request. Like I said, I'm trying to get through as many as I can because I've got so many on backlog, and this is one of them. This comes from my good friend Jason Voorhees 2011. I've been meaning to get to this one, and this is a fun crossover idea he gave me, and this is Kong and Indiana Jones. So yeah, this is like King Kong and Indiana Jones. Basically, this is an idea that really works on so many levels. Like really, the thing is that something like Kong, especially like the 1933 Kong, or if you want to go by like a more modern standard, the '06 Kong, like that version of Kong like that smaller version of Kong specifically really works in here. Like, it really does work in this story. Like, in the universe of Indiana Jones, you could easily see something like Kong here. I mean, you had the Ark of the Covenant, death cults, and, the Holy Grail. So a giant a big monkey is, is something you could totally see in this continuity. Like, it makes so much sense. Like, the idea of Kong in here, in meeting Indiana Jones, makes so much sense. It's almost like a little insulting that we never got that in any form. Like, I know the Kong comics didn't happen with Boom Studios for a while, and by then, Indiana Jones comic rights were no more with Dark Horse, so, c'est la vie. But, yeah, hopefully maybe one day we'll get hey, if Tarzan can meet Kong in a novel, and as well as Doc Savage can meet Kong in a novel, why can't, Indiana Jones? So without further ado, let's talk about this story. So this story is basically set in between Temple of Doom and Last Crusade, where in here, what is happening is that Indy is contacted by a old friend of his saying, like, hey, my son who was on a boat, who was part of a shipping container, shipping valuable resources to the Allied forces combating the Nazis, they were lost, so I need your help finding him. And Indiana's like, yeah, sure, I'll help you find him. So the two head out on the last known location, and it's kind of interesting because they bring up, there is where they went missing is very close to a mythical island called Skull Island. Now, Indy basically says that there's no way Skull Island could exist because Skull Island, this is all. Like, I would also say this is before the movie, the 1933 movie. So yeah, essentially, what happens is that Indiana talks about how there's no way this could be real. It's a cool myth, and then his friend goes, "That's what you said about the Ark of the Covenant, and isn't that what you also said about the Cult of Kali? Am I right? Not everything's a myth. Not everything is there are some truth to legends, my friend." So they end up on Skull Island, and they run aground. They run aground in the midst of a storm. They run aground on Skull Island. So now Indiana and a group of other people are now trapped on Skull Island, and the first thing they run into are the Skull Islanders, who are really not cool with the idea of these people showing up on their island. And there's no woman they can appease with to give Kong as a sacrifice. So basically, Indy and the crew members fight their way through, and they can't get the boat's stuck, but they can't get past the Skull Islanders without they need to find the missing people, because they do find the remnants of the boat they were looking for. So there has to be survivors out here. So now Indy, his friends, and other members of the crew go and fight their way past the Skull Islanders and get through the gate, which they actually get through because in the midst of it, they were the Skull Islanders were giving a new sacrifice to Kong. So they free her, and she, in return, she offers to be their guide through Skull Island. She basically tells them, none of you are going to survive this. Like literally, not many people are going. Like many of you, if not all of you, are going to die. Anyway, so of course, along the way, they run into, of course, fucking dinosaurs. They run into, they run into raptors, pterosaurs, stegosaurus, different dinosaurs, even like giant insects. And Indy, of course, like this is the best thing. And like a lot of people wonder why I do so many crossovers with Kong, even though I'm more of a Godzilla fan than I am a Kong fan. It's because the world of Skull Island, the world of Skull Island is so much more like you can do more with it than you can with Monster Island or the Kaiju. Because there's so much things that are like you can have more human interaction rather than humans just standing around going, that's cool or that's scary. It's more like, oh, we got to fight for our lives here. So, and besides, Indiana Jones fighting a dinosaur, yeah. So, eventually they do find the missing crew member, crew members of the ship they were looking for, and it turns out that what they had was a piece that would eventually become part of the Manhattan Project, and it's a vital piece to it, and they need to get it over to the they need to get it to command, to jumpstart. It's like a vital piece of the Manhattan Project that they need to get from point A to point B, but unfortunately it's not radioactive. It's just a piece of the bomb that they need to make. Unfortunately, Kong took it because he liked how shiny it was and took it into his lair. So they now have to go into Kong's lair to get it back, which is obviously not the smartest thing to do, and nor is it the easiest. And yeah, so Kong in here is obviously like his original size. Like it's just kind of it's not like Skull Island, like Monsterverse Kong size. It's more like, something like Peter Jackson size, if you want to put it that way. But yeah, eventually the group does manage to get the piece of the bomb they needed, fight their way back to civilization, fight their way back to the boat, get back on it, and haul ass out of there. But however, there was one member of the crew who was kind of keeping maps on everything. He was keeping charts and maps on everything, and at the end of the story, it would be that guy talking to Carl Denham and giving him the map, thus leading into the whole story of Kong, like the whole story of King Kong in 1933. So, there you go. There is your Indiana Jones King Kong story. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this crossover? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below to my Patreon, hit the 4th tier, where you can not only send me requests to do here on YouTube, but you can also get to see videos that are exclusively on my Patreon. But just keep in mind that it might be a bit of a wait because I've kind of got a few more videos to do. I've got a list, and I got some people waiting, so just bear in mind that there is a bit of a wait for Patreon, but I will get to it eventually. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. Jason, hope you enjoyed this, and once again, I'm Mr. Multiversals, and I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.